Hi, my name is Sean Benedict. I am a lead meteorologist with the National Weather Service in Phoenix. Behind me is the official weather sensor and climate site for Phoenix. We are located here at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. And specifically, this weather sensor is what's called an Automated Surface Observation System, or ASOS for short. It's part of a collaboration with the Federal Aviation Administration, Department of Defense, and our agency, the National Weather Service. The ASOS measures a whole bunch of different types of weather, measures temperature, dew point, pressure, the wind, measures the rain here at the airport. So the ASOS here at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport is important for aviation, largely because of the safety. We need to know what the weather conditions are going on at the airport, if there's anything critical going on, but also for the planning purposes. So if you're taking off at a different location in the U.S. and all the pilots need to know what the weather conditions are at their destination when they're flying in. And they may make adjustments to their flight based on the weather conditions at their destination. So why do we have the Phoenix ASOS and the official climate site here at Sky Harbor? Largely because of its record. We've been taking records here at Phoenix Sky Harbor for over 70 years, but beyond that, there was a different sensor at different locations around Phoenix, but all centrally located and not far away. And those records go back to the late 1800s when the observations first started in Phoenix. It's important to have those records. We also have the Automated Weather Observing System, also located at airports around the U.S. AWOSs are mainly maintained by the FAA, and the National Weather Service mainly maintains the ASOSs. But it's a critical piece of equipment at airports for the safety of aviation, but it also provides critical information as part of this large network across the U.S., getting critical data that eventually goes into our weather models and helps us get a clear picture of the state of the weather and the environment around the area. The large ASOS network is largely maintained by the National Weather Service. We have electronics technicians that routinely do maintenance and updates and upgrades to this system across the U.S. And we do that mainly because we want to make sure we have good accuracy. So the ASOS is located here at the airport, and it's specifically located on gravel and sort of the natural desert landscape. It's important to capture the weather conditions on our natural environment. We have a temperature and dew point sensor on the ASOS system in order to give us our official temperature measurements, as well as give us an idea of how dry it might be with using the dew point. The temperature sensor is aerated in a design that we call like a beehive, just the way it looks, but it's aerated so we still get airflow through it. The wind is important for it, and it's also sheltered because we want to protect it from the sun. So the ASOS also features a present weather sensor. The sensor has a couple of cameras that look at each other, and whenever raindrops fall through it or say hail drops through it, the sensor is smart enough to be able to detect and tell what type of precip is falling, if it is rain or hail, or in some colder environments, if it's snow or sleet. So we're able to tell that just from this sensor. This present weather sensor as well is able to detect when there's dust particles in the air. We get a lot of dust storms that come through here, and it's able to pick up those fine particles and be able to distinguish if there's blowing dust. The ASOS has a cloud sensor, or what we call a ceilometer, as well as a visibility sensor. This cloud sensor, the ceilometer, has a beam that points up, and we're able to get a reading of how low clouds are, as well as the coverage of clouds directly above the airport. It's also, we do have contract weather observers at the airport that can also manipulate that, provide some more detail as well to the coverage of the clouds. This goes a little bit hand in hand as well with the visibility sensor. Visibility sensor has two sensors sort of pointed at a little bit different angles at each other, and we're able to get a reading as far as how low the visibility is. So if we get a dust storm come through, we can get an idea of how low that visibility is in the dust. It's critical for airport operations because they do have certain visibility thresholds that dictate whenever they may shut down the airport or go into a ground stop for a time period. But it's also critical information for us to know if we're seeing dust storm warning conditions, which is a quarter-mile visibility or less. So the ASOS here is not the only piece of weather equipment at the airport. Specifically, there's two other sensors for wind. You have your traditional windsock here at the airport that a lot of aviators may be familiar with, but also at the major airports you have what are called center field winds. This is a larger tower, usually close to the center of the airport, to get an idea of what the winds are in the middle of the airport. And then we also have a piece of equipment on the airport grounds called a co-op observing station that is sort of used as a backup and also has its own record. You can view ASOS weather data on our website, weather.gov/Phoenix. Also on our website, we have a couple links. We have a link to an interactive map display, our weather and hazards data viewer, and that will have the ASOS networks as well as a bunch of other networks in an interactive map display for you to view stuff. And we do also have a page dedicated just for this ASOS called the High-Res ASOS page, where you can get 1 minute by 1 minute updates for this ASOS. And on this page as well, below the graph on the middle of the page, you will find additional information about the ASOS, including the history of the ASOS.